Greetings to you, fellow Zambian citizens, and happy Easter Monday to you all. This morning, I have a very disturbing issue that I want to speak to. Whilst I was away in Luapula, upon my return, I was greeted with this very disturbing story. Teachers who gathered in Livingstone over this weekend took advantage, of their gathering to publicly endorse President HH for the August 2026 general elections. Now, I want to put this matter into very clear context. The law of this land permits or gives rights to every citizen, whether you work for public service or you work for the private service, nangula taubomba, to engage yourselves in politics by way of choosing which political party or which leader to support. The law is very clear. In fact, the law goes on further to give rights in Zambia to pele the constitution ya chalo ukutangolefuaya, you can even make your own political party. Lelo, the public service has got rules that governs the conduct of public servants. The moment you choose to get employed by the public service, the rules of engagement in the public service is that you cannot openly support a political party. But when in a private voter, you can go and vote for a political party of choice. Therefore, what happened in Livingstone has never been heard of in the land of Zambia since 1964. Ukwakutila, public servants and teachers for that matter, openly raising placards or banners endorsing a president or a political party. Secretary to Cabinet Vakangwa not long ago was issuing stern warnings to public servants to stay away from politics. Interestingly, Lelo, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Mambwe, venabapanga statement justifying that there is nothing wrong in teachers getting involved in politics or endorsing a presidential candidate for as long as it does not compromise their professional work. Now, mchumfwecho, va Mambwe, va permanent secretary, va tila, there's nothing wrong in the teachers. Bena bafunyako fyama soja na bakapokolati bena, they cannot show side. But teachers, it is okay for them to raise placards and support a candidate of their choice. Now, ndefo amuchingiriremo, ama teachers bali abaire ku Livingstone, ero ibumba limbiri ama teachers nabo beme ukutira na ifwe bene tule supporta Brand Mundubire. Muchingiriremo echo. Because what you do unto others, expect that to be done unto you. Umulingo olingilako mnobe, ewo nayo bakakulingilako. Alright? There must be rules that applies fairly for everyone. So if today it is okay for teachers to go and endorse President HH, the question to Dr. Mambwe, will it be okay for teachers in another area to gather up and endorse President Brand Mundubire? Mune fine. And let me say this is why I am so bothered. When you PND pronounce that Nabapuisha Kadarism, some of you who are naive believed the Mukwebati Kadarism Taidi, but I can tell you Kwebati Kadarism number is more rife and more brutal, because Leelo kulina ma abductions, not only from just cadres, even Wakapokola village abduct ama citizens, as the case that happened to Bafindre. But that's not the story I am discussing today. The story is chile palokutila ba UPND nomba batwala kadarism na mu public service. Ukoko tulemo na even very important institutions are now being headed by typical non-cadres. As an example, ku Electoral Commission of Zambia. Ku Electoral Commission of Zambia, ukufile kwaba very neutral people. baali abiikako bakipenzi, a typical cadre. Bamwangalaza Lomesi, a typical cadre. Imagine bakipenzi is even arguing with people to say today mimona ba opposition HHL win. And you expect that this organ, the ECZ, which handles election, is going to handle election in a fair manner. Now, chingirire anymore, the people that manages elections, returning officers, and all those who supervises officers, most of them are teachers. Now, chingirire anymore, tukapere omulimo wakuchita supervisor ma elections, abo bene ama teachers, abele chita endorse publicly a particular candidate, in this case, President HH. So abanesu ba UPND first via bapela ma institutions that manages election to cadres. Vaya kubana besu ama students nokuba kolonganika ukwambo kubembisha ama sort sana nangu kwenyu elo bale bapela ama 100 kwacha. They've completely politicized the education sector. Bali bika bakada heading education institutions, vaya bulaba na ba school ama students, vaya babika typical praise singers. No kubalekelesha in attending to their needs in the schools as what happened at Unza. Ichibipi shepe nomba vaya bula na bakafundisha vaya bachita parade to start chanting political slogans. The worst case is that all those who are now going to handle the elections are typical party cadres. Because if you pronounce that if we are endorsing President HH, how can we not say you are a typical cadre who has taken a position? How can we be comfortable that baliaba bachipenzi abaletila tule mimona ba opposition HH ale wina can handle a fair election? How can we trust that the elections are going to be credible if the teachers, most of whom, 90% of whom are the ones who are going to handle the elections, are now being paraded to sing Sort Sana? Now, muchingiriremo, public servants who we will now choose ukweba tepo abanesu nafu bachita endorse ba HH na ifotwe tuchite endorse ba Mpundu nga chakweba tabo bala abapanya. Just think for a moment about that scenario. Bane mwebe na Zambia ilukeni abanesu bala unaule chalo because of their insatiable appetite to get power at all costs. Na imo mweba nandi mweba mu public service isuleni amenso na matwi. Honestly speaking, today you can go and support this sinking Titanic, and openly you are doing that and raising placards openly. What if ubuteko mu August wachinja? Are you going to cry foul if the next government starts to treat you as cadres baka mifume public service? Have you never seen how many of your colleagues in the public service have suffered repercussions for simply showing allegiance or alignment to a particular political party? Bushenga fiaisa michitikile efyo mairo mukairishanya elo we muntu okwete no kumfu efile chitika ground ilelo elo ungaya imyama placards aba UPND nishimwe tamule umfu efili ground apaini tamwisu ili ama tukumfu echili ground ukumono kutila aba UPND vale lilo kuyaba nidye mfula ya kulekelesha isha yaona ule fisa ufila batila timfula yone fisa bopakuya ewubuteko tukwete. Honestly speaking, with all the sufferings you have gone through as public servants, nenkongolesho mwakwa tama pay slips full of debt, and this government has failed to even give you a cadet swap. This government is busy gifting foreign companies with tax incentives imwe bafirwa fyo kumupela kofie na ka reduction in the pay as you earn so that you can have more money in the pockets, because that is what President Mpundu is promising nga twaisa mu buteko tukapereko ka relief kuma public servants bali abakucha bali kwata makongole tukabapereko a debt swap bakambye okupemako bali abakutira ama public servants nangula those who are paying pay as you earn tukachiteko reduce ka pay as you earn so that they have got more disposable income. That is what Brian Mpundu through Tonse is promising you. No mbaimwe mwikatile kuli ububwini obuteko bwakuta bwali mikata pamukoshi bwafirwa n'okumilolesha akofe because nang mwalalanda tiyo partial withdraw iyo partial withdraw yo mwabula nibanga abachitere invest partial withdraw in meaningful adventures or undertakings, because the partial withdraw you've gotten nishinga shayafe kumakongole. I can bet my life that none of you has gotten the partial withdrawal has even invested, because the reason for getting a partial withdrawal is so that it can enable you to invest whilst you are of, good health. Ido mwapwenchito mwasanga mwachitako invest in some meaningful investment. But because of Kongole, because of imitengo ya fintu, abarepo kama partial withdrawal these days, bare tuwala FMP, shadi no kuba invested. Mukuya muku sorting afya ama problems ama skulu nefya shala aya abana imwelelo muimie ifikwembe mwafwale ifikwembe mwaimia na ma placards atule muku supporter ba HH we are endorsing the same government that has made you suffer over 5 years with high prices of commodities, with mediocre increment in your salaries, with no consideration that you also deserve some incentives, the same way they're giving incentives to their foreign friends who are running foreign companies. Imolero cha mimya tuaya mukupunda sot sana. Mwebana bakwalesa. Yesu Kristo atila muindidila ilileni mwebene usha chinshi tuponene muno mu Zambia chakulakano kubomfya bwino tompwe chinshi chituponene fwebe na Zambia ichakukwata omwenso ichakukano kwatela ngulushi kwena we mwina Zambia tachile kukali pefyo tule pitamo. And you, my fellow citizens, are we going to allow a government that now completely engulfs the public service with typical cadres? You go to the anti-corruption, ni kada udiko. You go to the ECZ, ni kada udiko. You go to the Register of Society, ni bakada. Konse fyoko mwalaya, kuisuile fe bakada. Chalo nshitule panga, and some of you are busy saying kwenyu or sort sana. I am very disturbed at you, Dr. Mambwe, Permanent Secretary. The culture you are trying to plant is a terrible culture. In any case, you are actually going against the rules of engagement in the public service. In fact, going against the directive of your boss, who is Secretary to Cabinet, who has been warning that public servants must not engage in politics. So, would I be wrong in calling public servants who are supporting Brian Mpundu to equally continue to openly engage themselves in endorsements and campaigning for Brian Mpundu? Would I be wrong? Therefore, I am also appealing. Nakuli mwebe neba public servants, mweba shiteme nwefile chitika. Na imwebule ni ulutampura banenu babuliro ulu akuya mukuma kwenyu for HH. Na imwebene Brian Mpundu is your option. Start campaigning for him. Ngamulefu waya, do it openly, and we are going to mark you. Na ifo benenga tuwaisa mubuteko will give you promotions. Kabiri efyo batolanga ba permanent secretary abene abaku making sure amafunde ale kongwa efyo batoe bati it is okay for public servants now to openly engage in politics. Bane ye excitement yala onaule chalo ukwali nsoke takwafuile bantu ineni nebo kabire wa mfumu elo nshilanjila mwenso na abako kumesula amano kutiro kutuleya ni kububi. We are now headed for destruction. Anyway, this is a happy Easter Monday, except some things don't have to wait. Enjoy the rest of this day. God bless you. I thank you.